Here's a look at the three papers that all IB chemistry students will complete at the end of year two. Recall, this is 80% of your final assessment. The other 20% is the 6 to 12 page research paper based on some independent research. Okay, so there's three papers. The first paper is a multiple choice examination. It's an hour long. It's 20% of the assessment and it's 40 marks. This is in some ways, don't want to overemphasize this, but it's in some ways reminiscent of the multiple choice section on an AP exam. There's 40 questions. You're given 60 minutes to complete them. This works out to 1.5 minutes per question. This is simplistic as it assesses different skills, some of which require very little time and some require working out. This is an exam for which calculators are not allowed, similar to the AP multiple choice section. The best approach is to read through the questions one at a time, answering as you go. There's usually more than enough time to complete the paper and go back to check any questions that you had difficulty with. We'll see if that actually works out. Calculations are not allowed. I don't know why this says calculators are allowed. They are not allowed. And a data booklet is provided. This is an extensive body of data that's best to become familiar with since you know what it's going to look like in advance. Paper 2 is structured questions. It's 2 hours, 15 minutes, 36% of your grade, 90 marks. This paper consists of two sections, sections A and B, with relative weighting of 40 and 50 marks respectively. In section A, you answer all of the questions. There's 40 marks given for this section, so it's 4/9 of the total. The overall time is 135 minutes, so that's 2 hours and 15 minutes. 60 minutes for section A. There's usually 5 questions, making 12 minutes per question. In section B, you answer 2 questions from the choices given, so you don't have to do every one. There's 50 marks awarded for section B, making 5/9 of the total. This is another 135 minutes. 75 minutes for section B, 37 minutes and 30 seconds per question. That's true, since there's only 2 questions that you have to answer. Wow, that's a long time to answer a single question. And this is in some ways, again, not to overemphasize it, but this is in some ways reminiscent of the free response section on the AP chemistry exam. Paper 3 is an hour and 15 minutes long, 45 marks. That's 24% of the overall assessment. 2 sections. One is a database question on several short answer questions based on some experimental work. So they're testing directly on your understanding of dealing with experimental work in particular. And in section B, you get short answer and extended response questions from the option that was chosen for our class, that will be medicinal chemistry. You can use calculators, and by the way, you can use calculators on paper 2 as well, and the data booklets are provided. Don't forget that 20% of the overall assessment also has to do with a 6 to 12 page research paper. So those are the 3 papers at the end of year 2.